I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the Williston City Council. It is Tuesday, June the 7th. It is 6 p.m. And I'll ask Ms. Wright to please call the roll.
Mayor Goodman,
I am here.
Council President Jones,
Here.
Vice President Robinson, she's absent. Councilmember Cox,
Here.
Councilmember Bullock,
Here.
Councilmember Ross,
Here.
City Manager Jackie Gorman,
Here.
Deputy City Manager Dina Nelson, City Attorney Kirsten Babu, City Clerk Latricia Wright, I am here, and all other staff.
Here.
Are you here? Quiet tonight. Welcome. We will open with the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance by the Mayor.
Thank you, President. Lord, we come together again tonight to do the business of the city. We thank you for the grace that you showed our city and this country, Lord. Lord, we just ask you tonight to keep a special eye on our police officers and our fire department, our first responders, Lord, who are in harm's way every day when they respond to aid our citizens. And Lord, I ask you in this time to be with the leaders of our country, our state, and our city, to give them wisdom, to give them
Okay, at this time, we will do item 1, which is additions, deletions, changes, and approval of the agenda. The only thing I've been told about tonight is that item number 7E has been canceled. Other than that, I think we're good. If we can have an approval of the revised agenda. Entertain a motion, please.
I make the motion we approve the agenda. As written.
With that revision?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right, with a motion and a second, is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 2 is a swearing in of new police officer. We're going to take them one at a time or together?
I'm going to take the 2 police officers together.
Okay, so Jose Perez and Thomas McCullough by Mayor Goodman. We want to welcome back Sergeant Lofton, by the way. Y'all recognize Sergeant Jimmy Lofton, one of our retired officers. We're thrilled to see him tonight.
So citizens, look at these faces. These are the officers that are going to be serving you. Commit them to yourself so that if you see them, you will know them. Officer McCollum, place your hand on the Bible, raise your right hand. I, Tom McCollum, do solemnly swear that I will support and protect and defend the Constitution and the government of the United States, the state of Florida, and all the ordinances of the city of Williston, that I am duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state, and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of police officer on which I am now about to enter. So help me God. Officer Perez. This is a fine young man. I met him and I can't tell you how impressed I am by him. Officer Perez. I would like you to take the oath of office, sir. I, Jose Perez,
I, Jose Perez,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support and protect
that I will support and protect
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
and the government of the United States,
and the government of the United States,
the state of Florida,
the state of Florida,
and the ordinances of the city of Williston,
and the ordinances of Williston,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office
to hold office
under the Constitution of the state,
under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
perform the duties of police officer
perform the duties of police officer,
on which I am now about to enter.
which I am now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I understand that you are going to do the honors of putting the badge on. And sir, I understand you are going to do the honors of Officer Perez.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
I'm sticky.
I started to say this is one of the hardest jobs of the night, by the way.
If they stick them, they can't yell. They have to be strong.
Good luck. It's hard, it really is hard.
Officer Perez has a bulletproof vest on. Don't be alarmed. Thank you. Citizens of Williston, I present to you Officer McCullough and Officer Perez.
Now I got a 30-minute speech. I just want to say that we're honored to have these two men join our force. They're both good men. I've known Tom for quite some time. He's an FAP trooper, so he does have some law enforcement experience. He's coming on as one of our reserve officers. Hopefully one day he'll evolve into a full officer. And Officer Perez, I met him at the academy when he graduated with good high honors from his class. He was well represented. I was proud to stand there with him as a Williston police officer, and I'm proud to stand here today with both of them as Williston police officers, and I assure you that they will do the community of Williston an outstanding and a great job. So thank you both for choosing Williston Police Department to continue your law enforcement career and you to start yours. And I think the citizens are looking forward to you doing great and wonderful things here. So thank you both.
The next item on our agenda is the promotion of Officer Tim O'Hara to the rank of sergeant.
I was hoping I would get to hold the baby while she's getting the new sergeant badge
This
on.
is my granddaughter. My first, her name is Mila.
Officer O'Hara, I would like to congratulate you on your promotion to sergeant for the Williston Police Department, sir.
Appreciate that very much.
And we have a gold badge for you. Are you gonna pin the badge on? Do you need someone to hold the baby? Hold this.
Oh, boy, here we go. It's a stranger danger.
This close. My baby is a bare 47 years old.
There's Dad, there you go.
Now, you can really stick it.
Well, they all make holes in those things where the badges stick out through.
They do,
They're
just
little-
right.
They do, they're just a light, Oh, the first time.
To graduate as sergeant, he must remove his bulletproof vest.
Oh, it's not complicated, it's another.
Chief?
Well, once again, I want to congratulate, Sergeant O'Hara for his promotion. I've known Tim for a long time. We worked together at the, Marion County Sheriff's Office. I actually got to supervise him there, and now I'm supervising him again. So, Tim's a great guy, has a lot of experience. He's another one like Perez and Tom that will serve his community with pride and honor and dignity, and will bring a lot of good to this community. These are the types of folks that you see here tonight, that we are looking for our police department, because you deserve the best that we can get. And, in order to do that, we gotta have people that are willing to make that sacrifice and give you what you deserve. And I can tell you tonight, I'm strong behind these three men, that they will definitely do what they're supposed to do, and do it with high honor and great dignity. And Sergeant Tim O'Hara is now one of what they call us, or we, or them. You know, when you're down at the lower level, you always say, well, they did that. Well, they want us to do this. But now he's part of they, we, us.
I've done it before, so.
His favorite line is, that's above my pay grade, but guess what? Not anymore. But, Tim, thank you, once again for, choosing Williston Police Department to be the place that you continue your law enforcement career. And on behalf of the city council and the members of this community, I think I can speak for them all. We're honored to have all three of you men join this force. So thank you.
Congratulations to all three of you. Thank you, Mayor Goodman.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 4 on our agenda is the first opportunity for the public to participate in our agenda tonight on an item that is not on the agenda. If you would like to come to the podium, you have up to 5 minutes to speak on anything that is not on the agenda. You will state your name and city of residence for the record.
My name is Dwayne Williams. I'm a resident of the city of Williston. I have a request that whenever this item comes on the agenda after discussion, that I be able to come back up and talk about it. The utility rate, I understand it's on the agenda. I'm just requesting an opportunity to speak before you vote.
Not necessary, but thank you.
Sorry?
I said the request is not necessary, but you're welcome. Absolutely. Ms. King.
Good evening, I'm Cookie King, I'm a real estate broker here in town, and I'm here because, I sold the McCoy subdivision that we know as the 4 lots called Stadium View, which would be south of Joyce Bullock Elementary. I sold the lots to the Troops, to the Butts, and to the Beasleys. And they're all ready to build their home and ready to pull their permits, and they were told that they had to put in a sidewalk. So evidently, when the McCoys negotiated this transaction with the city, they went back and forth on this. I wasn't part of that, development, so I did not have this information. But evidently, it went back and forth, and it was determined to pass that on to the buyer, or to the homeowner, or to the ultimate owner of the property. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and prepared some. Ron, would you like to hand these pictures out to the council folks? I have 8 copies that explain and show. I'm gonna keep, I'll give you my copy in a minute because I don't need it. It'll show the aerial of the 4 lots for Stadium View. They're 1 acre each. It will illustrate with photographs exactly where you are, what street you're on, and it'll show the lack of sidewalks on, this would be going from Joyce Bullock Elementary toward 41. There's no sidewalks all the way to 41 there. And the city's requesting sidewalks be put in front of these 4 lots that you can see on page 1. And they're requesting the sidewalks be on Southwest 5th, which the Troops own lot 4, the Butts own lot 3, the Beasleys own lot 1 and 2. And so the Beasleys also are being told they have to put one on Southwest 3rd Street. So if you look at all the pictures, the 3rd picture shows going west that the sidewalk would end at the Troops because there's no other, that would go into the football stadium parking. There's no sidewalks there. The next picture is looking south on 3rd Street and Beasley's property on the right. There's sidewalks on the opposite side of the street. There's no sidewalks on the south adjacent property to the Beasleys, which would be Sherry Screw's house. So the sidewalks are on the opposite side of the street. And the next picture is a better picture of that angle, looking at the southeast corner of Beasley's lot going south, that there's no sidewalks for the proposed sidewalk to connect to. And then there's another picture of the front of the lots, and when I say front, that would be the north end, looking at Joyce Bullock, that they're where the sidewalks are being requested. Then again, at the corner, with a different view of the Beasley lots. And then a further back view, like I backed toward Joyce Bullock and took a picture of the whole intersection. I'm requesting that these sellers, these buyers that did not know about this, be given a variance from having to install sidewalks. Who did not get a copy? Because I had 8 copies. Latricia, did you need a copy?
She does need one for the record. I will say, because this is not on our agenda at this time, we can take no action on it.
I understand.
Have you applied for a variance? No variance has been applied for yet.
Ms. Jones, a variance isn't appropriate. This is on the legal plat of record. This was agreed upon when it was platted. The city has no stance on who puts in the sidewalk. So it could be the developer or it could be the property owners. It's really,
And it was part of the plat.
it was part of the legal plat, yes,
So if
ma'am.
they did a title search, they should have found it. So
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
telling
For new development, but the concern was by the developer at the time was there was a lot of parking that took place there during football games, they didn't want the sidewalk crushed. They didn't know where the driveways were gonna be, so they couldn't reinforce the driveway area, so they said, let's just leave it on a house per house, and let them determine when they build the house where that sidewalk needs to be. So that's what makes it between the developer and the house, and the purchaser of the lot, to see who does that.
Okay, so our time is up. The one question I will ask is, if it's not a variance, it's a private matter, you're saying it's
I
part of
believe
the
it
deed.
is, and we could talk to the attorneys about it, but it doesn't say on the plat who should put up the sidewalks, just that, COs won't be available for the building of a house until the sidewalks are up. But it doesn't say the builder or the.
And is it due to code? Is it
No,
due-
this was to try and make some better development in town. This was one of the stipulations we had to,
If it's code, that's what I need to know.
yes ma'am, yes ma'am.
Okay.
So I would just say that look at the pictures, those are the illustrations, and the sidewalks would go to nowhere.
Okay, so if you will make an appointment with Ms. Jones, with Laura Jones, and/or the city manager, to discuss it, because it's evidently not in our hands.
Okay.
And if you don't get any farther there, we'll try again by putting it on the agenda.
Okay.
And I hate to say it, but welcome to Williston, we'll be thrilled to have you. That's not very, very nice, is it?
They're kinda all Williston people.
That's good, so they've been here for a while, that's wonderful. Okay, so next time if we have it on the agenda, we can discuss it longer. We're only allowed 5 minutes when it's not on the agenda. Okay, Ms. Jackie?
Jacqueline Akron, this is more of an announcement. I would just like to invite any and everyone to come out to our second annual Juneteenth celebration at New Street Park on June 18th. It will be from 9 to 2. So we're just inviting you to come out and enjoy the park is located on June. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Mr. Johnson?
Good evening, council. I was just wondering, I want to thank everyone for everything that they've been doing, and if I'm not mistaken, Ms. Jones, have they started getting ready to do the parking lot? Because I see fencing and everything going behind. Oh, wow, you had to, Jonathan. I didn't know if they were gonna start, so I didn't know whether to start thanking the council, previous council.
Slightly premature, but I like it. We're starting a demo for the arcade, the hallway going through the 2-bit.
Okay, but that's all a part of the bigger plan of getting
Yes,
started.
so technically, we're starting that, and we're starting the open air park, and after that's when the parking lot starts.
Okay, now I can thank everybody then. Now I want to thank the previous administration, everyone that was a part of that, the new council people that came on this year for pushing forward and getting this done. Because we've had potholes for years now, and a lot of business owners came to me and said, well, Marvin, you've been going up there, and you've been speaking to them. So I'm really happy. I want to thank everyone for everything they're doing, especially thank goes out to Ms. Jones and City Manager Gordon for all of that.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Anyone else at this time? Mr. McMillan? There is another occasion at the end of the agenda, by the way, if you have other things that you think of.
Stephen McMillan, Williston. This light right here, where it has the turning lane that's, you know, it's shorter than the other, I see people every day going over that line. And these, you know, hauling trucks and everything like that, they turn that corner knowing the assumption that they have that space, and there's people just over the line. I don't know how to solve that. I don't know if it's like blinking lights or stop here or automatic tickets or something like that, but I don't know.
I've seen it too.
All it's gonna take is one day a tow truck comes around this side and it's gonna hit somebody.
Thank you.
That's all I gotta say.
Chief Rolls, got any comments?
Well, we can look at it, but the reason that line is so far back behind the building is because when DOT did the improvements there, they gave enough room for the big trucks to make that turn.
Yeah.
So in order for them to be able to do that, they had to move that line back. But a lot of people will probably just not stop because they're trying to see around the building. So we can keep an eye on them and see if we can, do
Yeah,
something
but
about that.
I mean, all I'm saying is, all it takes is one truck to come around that side, thinking that they have that turn,
Yeah.
and there's somebody right there. So, that's
Yeah,
all I got.
I've seen them back up many times. The people sitting there had to back up
Yeah.
to allow the truck around.
Yeah.
maybe we could ask DOT for suggestions,
Yeah.
if there's anything they know of that might work. That's all I can think of. Because you're right, it does happen. Anything else for this time? Okay, we will move then to the consent agenda, which tonight consists of the council meeting minutes of May the 17th. Entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
Make the motion that we approve the consent agenda for May 22.
Thank you, Mr. Cox. Do I have a second? Thank you, sir. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 6 is old business. We will start with the staff board and council updates with the city manager, Jackie Gorman.
Hey, good evening, council. Just in your box, you'll find an invitation to the Homestead Park soft opening that they're having Thursday, 11:30. The chamber's working with Tricia, I believe, to get this, grand opening started. So it's a soft opening on Thursday for city, staff, and then the grand opening's on Friday. Yes. So, that's where, for those that you don't know, it's the old Winn-Dixie 121. It's gonna be a wonderful facility when it's completed. So, just check your box to make sure you're aware of it, because you were a big part of getting that off the ground. And they're very grateful for that, and they wanna show their appreciation. So that's first. Second of all, are y'all happy with the weekly reports you're getting from me, or would you rather have it monthly? How? Again, like this mixed signals, I wanna make sure that I'm communicating effectively with each of you. Weekly is good because it's fresh in my head.
I prefer the weekly as well.
You do?
Yeah.
Are you, Councilman Ross, are you okay with weekly report? I emailed a weekly report, are you okay with that?
I didn't understand you.
So weekly progress report instead of monthly, are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, Mayor Goodson, are you okay with, weekly?
Yes, it's fine.
Okay.
I think you do a good job on it.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have.
Okay. We will start with staff then. Ms. Delson, do you have anything at this time?
I do. I want to share a project that I'm initiating just to improve where we have had some retention issues. Oh, sorry.
I started to say, is your mic on?
I think it is on now.
There you go.
Yes, yes. So I want to do some employee retention efforts where I'm rethinking, realigning and reimagining the employee experience. So I'm going to be working on that so that I can kind of have a better positive effect on how we attract, hire, and retain staff.
Terrific. It's easier to keep them than train a new one.
Yes.
For sure. Ms. Ballou, do you have anything at this time?
Just very briefly, typically I give council a 30-second heads up before the meeting if something is quasi-judicial. It does not today, so B and C for this agenda will be quasi-judicial proceedings.
Okay. Ms. Wright, anything for this portion of the agenda? Yep. Mr. Siegel? Ms. Willis?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Rolls?
Real quick, the police and the fire department, put on hosted an event for the Joyce Bullock, kindergarten class. We had 198 kids come through the police department and the fire department. I want to say to my staff and Lamar's staff, they did an awesome job educating the kids and entertaining them while they were there. They actually came back and they made these big poster boards for us, thanking us for taking the time out and spending time with them. So that's real moving to my heart that, you know, we can bring those kids into those areas and put a positive influence into their lives. So hopefully that will carry them on as they continue to reach adulthood. Also, just a quick report, the police department, as of tonight, with the hire of Officer Perez, we are now full staff, except we have one person that's out on leave. so she'll be out for a little while, but other than that, we're full staff. We just gotta get them trained and up the core, and we'll be, back in action. So, thank you all for your patience, thank you all for working with us as we, get these positions filled and get these people trained so they can go out and do what they do best, which is serve the people of the Wilson community. So, thank you.
That's all I have. Great job, thanks, sir. Chief Stigall. Anything at this time? Gonna wait.
Yes, no ma'am, I'll go ahead. I have some good news and some bad news.
I don't like bad news.
I know you don't. This last week, we had our rescue truck, 2016 Dodge Ram rescue truck, 5500 blue engine. I have received a quote to repair that engine and get it back in service. It is $30,710.92. That is unbudgeted.
So are you suggesting we buy a new engine or a new squad truck?
No, I'm suggesting we fix this one because the new one, we're gonna have to buy a new one anyway, and that's an additional $150,000.
I knew that.
But
I don't know if you wanna do both.
Yes, ma'am, I'm gonna need to do both if we wanna continue that ISO rating.
Okay.
The biggest thing, I did send out an email I talked to Ms. Gorman, I sent out an email to Mr. Bloom advising him that we had this approaching, looking for the money or to see where we could find it from there. Other than that, I don't know what to say about it, other than we need to get it back in service as fast as possible. This truck, to give you an idea, this truck keeps the $500,000 engine off the road for vehicle accidents and stuff.
Right. Ms. Gorman.
Yes, already circling our wagons, trying to figure out how to do it, and we think we have a plan. So we'll be back to you at the next meeting, after we discuss that with the mayor, and chief, and make sure everybody's on board with it, and we'll go forward. We have a thought, an idea that might help Bill, might get them their truck.
So we're gonna hold off until our next meeting?
Yes. I have a couple things I need to double check before we do it as far as funding, but I think we're good. Is that okay, or do you want to do it now?
I would, well, not,
I mean, it's
which
not an
part?
agenda item,
A
but.
new truck, can we
Yes,
wait?
we wanna go ahead, we wanna move forward. I need that truck back as quick as I can get it back.
So tonight you want your repair approved, and we'll come back, is it okay for the
Yeah,
next meeting?
let's circle back to the other item,
Okay.
but I need to get that repair
Okay.
approved.
We'll come back to you with the second one.
Okay, so,
Ms. Deborah,
yes,
I just want to let everyone know that I did put that information on the dial. It should be on the
Yes.
desk.
it's the one that says Phillips, by the way. So can we do it as an emergency repair, Ms. Ballou, I'm looking at you, because it's not on the agenda? Does it qualify as an emergency repair?
Chief, is it an emergency?
Absolutely.
That's what I thought too, so.
Yeah, it's fine.
How does the council feel? I understand, I mean, it feels like an emergency to me if we're running a $500,000 truck instead of this one.
Yes.
Well, not only that, but you have that other truck that's down.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, we still have to replace the squad truck. We actually sold it in, the sealed bid, last month.
Right.
Yep.
So we've gotta have it.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion for emergency repair of the truck, the 2016 Ram 5500.
I make a motion that we move forward with that. That's the correct way to say that.
With emergency repair.
Emergency repair.
There you go. Do we have a second to the motion?
A second.
Mr. Mayor, would you recommend this?
We have choices. We either repair this one, or we're going to be wearing out a $500,000 vehicle. I think it's very clear that the council's making an excellent choice.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Anything else, Mr. Steele?
I do have some good news.
I'm waiting for it. I knew
Okay.
that wasn't it.
It was not Mr. King coming in late, though. The Public Safety Complex appropriations grant, for the first time, we have made it to the second round. did we go much further, we would be approved for $5.2 million to build a new public safety complex.
That is a new that is a new police and fire station out at the airport.
That is correct, yes.
And when Congressman Dunn was here, yeah, when Congressman Dunn was here last, we made an appeal to him for that. And it was a group effort from the entire city staff. We were all there, and we presented him with all information, including excerpts of the actual grant that we had applied for that he had not seen previously. This time we put it in front of his face while he was in Williston, and it did make the cut, and we were so excited. Ms. Willis brought it to our attention, and we were jumping up and down. So at least to make his cut, he had to put special projects forward that were his own, and it was one of his that he chose. So that's, like Chief Steele says, that's farther than we got before.
I just want to say one more thing, and I'm sorry I forgot to mention this earlier. On a more of a serious note, is, you know, school is out right now, and the kids are out. But school is going to go back in session. And with the increase of the shootings that we've had around this country, I would ask everyone that if you see something, say something. We have a lot of schools here in Williston that we're going to have to be watching over and be responsible for. It's not only when, it's where. And we're hoping that it's not here, but to prepare everybody for that, or to stop that from happening, or just educate people. See something, say something. If you think something's not right, please do not hesitate to pick up the phone and call law enforcement so we can go check it out. Because we want to avoid at all costs anything happening to any of our children or in our schools here in the great city of Williston. So help us by see something, say something. Just remember that. See something, say something. And then let us handle it from there. And moving forward, we will be working on getting our police officers trained better to deal with those types of situations if they were to occur here. You know, Levy County Sheriff Department is the SROs in our schools, and I've already reached out to the sheriff. We will be training with them, so we will know how to work together in case something does happen at a school or, quite frankly, here at City Hall, and we can all be prepared to go in and respond and neutralize that threat to our community and to our children and to everybody as quickly as possible. Now, there will be a couple of things that I'll bring back to the council later that we would have to look into to also help, you know, increase that training and that safety for our officers if they were to have to respond to a situation like that. So, see something, say something. I just wanted to put that in everybody's mind before school starts back up. See something, say something. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Rawls. Mr. Mills. Ms. Jones. Mr. Bishop.
I just want to say again that we're excited about starting the Block 12 project, and I would like to give credit to Chief Rawls for help. We had some incidents with theft of water and electric, and he was a big role in that, so I just want to say
wow.
That's it.
Teamwork make the dream work.
Thank you, we appreciate it. It's nice to hear that. Mr. Barber, do you have anything? Mr. Miller? The other gentleman? Mr. Lloyd? No? All right, any other staff member that I'm missing? Who's that? Mr. McMillan? You're not a third person, but.
I was wondering, but with the school shooting thing, I mean, I know it's little Williston, but do we have some type of social media cybersecurity thing that is scanning all this stuff? I mean, there's been plenty of stuff that's been posted on social media. That, I was just wondering.
There is something, and we'll be, Brooke's gonna get it here in just a second, that the school has. Just remember, the schools are controlled by the SROs. You know, they're in the city, but they're SROs. So, as the sheriff starts to do his training with his officers on that type of stuff, he's already assured me that he will include us in that training. So, which is great for us as Williston, because we're probably gonna be the first ones there. You know, if something goes down. So it's so vital that, you know, the relationship between myself and the sheriff is good, because that training is what we need.
Fortified Florida
It's called Fortify Florida, and it's an app that students can use and adults can use, and it's monitored, so if there is an incident where the children, have any issues or see something, they can text it in this app, and it is monitored at all times. So it does give us, information from inside the school, but it's being monitored by the sheriff's office, and that's who would respond with mutual aid with us.
Okay? All right, if you will, let's return to our agenda. At this time, we have public hearings. It's item number 6B, and we are here for a quasi-judicial hearing, as you heard, a second reading ordinance 2022-696, an ordinance of the City of Williston, Florida, providing for permanent closing of an unimproved right-of-way known as Bee Tree Lane and named Bee Tree Drive in the Plat Book 1, page 50 of the public record of the Levy County, and located within the Bullock subdivision between lots 15 and 16, finding that the closing of right-of-way will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare, that the right-of-way will remain utility easement, providing for the repeal of the conflicting ordinances, and providing for an effective date. At this time, I will ask all council members if they have had any ex parte communication regarding this particular item. And that's everything from speaking to the owners to visiting the site. Okay, I see none. At this time, I will ask that all staff and witnesses who wish to speak to this issue, please stand.
Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. You can. The clerk will take custody of all exhibits, if there are any, all diagrams, photographs, or any similar evidence that is brought into testimony at this time. And I will first ask for the staff's opening statement. So Ms. Jones, that would be you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. This is the second time you've seen this ordinance. This was the small driveway / easement right-of-way that was next to, between two residences that went back into what is, used to be called Stone Hedge, right?
It's actually two developed lots,
Right.
Stonehenge, lot 24 and 25.
Right. So the city of Williston received this request to vacate a portion of the unused road called Bee Tree Lane. Property will remain in utility easement, will not be in the future plans for a road or access for property owners. Aerials and maps are attached, and we had a little bit of a discussion about when we vacate a road, who gets the property, so it will be split right down the middle. We have confirmed that.
Okay. At this time, I will ask if there are any witnesses for the staff. If not, I will move and ask for the appellant to please make an opening statement.
Well, I didn't even know this was on the agenda till I read it, and so I texted my husband to come, because this is ingress and egress to lot 24 of Oak Hammock, which is behind, it's kind of an odd way, but I have a Macmillan survey on my phone showing the ingress and egress to that property. It would have to be cleared, but that property is under contract, and that is one of the right-of-ways, public ingress and egress, 50 foot, that when Oak Hammock was developed, those two big lots, and Perkins did this development, Perkins State Bank, they did the development, and they made all the little house lots along, I guess that's 4th and 7th. But they didn't know what to do with, I guess, the two big wooded lots down there by city retention, so they ended up being 2 9-acre parcels in the city limits. So I went to Laura before I started marketing these, and she had the survey, and we discussed the ways that you could get into this property, and this is one of the legal accesses to lot 24. So we would object to that being closed.
Can you show us on this map where lot 24 is?
Very briefly, just as a point of
Oh,
order,
sorry.
are you the applicant? Okay,
No,
so-
I'm here to talk about sidewalks, and I saw it, and that is part of the farm that we live on.
So, well, if the applicant is here, we give them a chance
Okay,
for.
I know that, I think
and
the
then
applicant is
consider-
Mr. Pompeo.
Yep.
Okay. Do you have anything to add here? Because this is your opportunity to speak, if the applicant.
If you will,
wants to
trade
speak.
places with Mr. Pompeo.
I apologize.
Me too, I didn't realize the same. I thought she was representing him as well.
So,
I'm sorry, just one moment.
well, there's two Petrie drives.
Yes, so we would be
No.
concerned about that.
No, can I clarify, just before this?
Before you do that, let me
Yeah,
swear
somebody
you
needs
in.
to show us on the map so we know what we're talking about here.
Mark, I need to swear you in, please, sir. Could you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Let me just clarify for everybody. This, what, Ms. King is talking about is a plat with 3 lots, Ms. King.
And we can't see you pointing on that side.
Ms. King,
On this side here, over here.
you had 3 lots that were platted, that you showed me, and you had 3 entrances.
We didn't plat it. It's been platted
Right, and we have 3 different entrances. There's one on the south, there's one on the north, and there's just one in the middle. So this will not landlock anybody.
The one on the south is not cleared.
No, it's not cleared yet.
North Fugit, we just had an easement to the lot 24, there's lot 24.
Right, but we're vacating it, that's the purpose of this application.
We're objecting to
Okay.
the vacation.
The reason we're okay with it is because even though it's not cleared down there, it needs to be cleared anyway for access.
Well,
This one is not cleared either.
but-
So there's no
No,
access
this is-
right now.
This is cleared. You can
No,
get in
Bee Tree
there.
Lane is not cleared.
No, it's Mark's yard.
Right.
It's got that beautiful azaleas right there, but there's 2 property owners here that part of the sale to them included this access that you and I discussed a long time ago.
Right,
Madam
but-
President, I'm,
If y'all will.
we have to kind of follow a certain order.
We do.
There will be an opportunity for public comment.
Yeah, if you'll sit down for a minute,
Now is the opportunity
Judge.
for the
Thank you.
applicant to speak and for the city to speak, and then there will be opportunity for.
So the
public
city did
comment.
review this multiple times and there's other accesses for those lots. I didn't know that they were selling it with that in mind as the access, but there's other accesses.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Mr. Pompeo, tell us why you want this.
To prevent traffic from going down my road, to access the parcels that are in the back there. It really only goes to, city property. It does not connect to any of the other properties that have been divided back there. And to my knowledge, the city has not received any, request for an easement across their property to go back to the other properties.
Okay,
At the time of my application, that was the case.
right. Do you have any witnesses you wanna call other than yourself?
No, after the first reading, the neighbor said he didn't need to come.
Okay. All right, so if you will, let's let Ms. King come at this time for testimony, presentation of evidence from the public, which essentially, because you don't own the property, so you are the public. Yep. So now, I have a question for you.
Yes.
The 2 large properties that are to the right and the left that you say are 9 some odd acres apiece,
That's lot 24 and lot 25. I have the survey on my
how
phone.
else can they be accessed? If
So-
not through Bee Tree Lane?
Lot 24 can be accessed another way. But it's kind of confusing because when the small oak hammock lots were developed, they dug the dirt out of where the access is. So now there's a retention that was allowed that is in the middle of this access. So it is going to be, very, very expensive to clear out to 7th, because it's gonna involve probably coming to y'all and saying, if we're gonna use this, then you're gonna have to put dirt back from where you got it from that pond, there's kind of a semi-levee down there. And I think it was it's not a real good retention, but there's a retention there. And I think it was done to keep the lots on Fourth, all that water goes down toward that pond to slow it down. Now, I wasn't around when Oak Hammock was developed, but if you want to walk this with us, we walked it, and it was like, this is gonna be too expensive to do. We need to get access to this lot off of Lot 25 entrance through Bee Tree Lane.
Is there any access, the road that's out of the city limits that goes down beside Stonehenge, is there any access from that road?
No.
No.
No, these lots are served off of 7th Street. And the other lot we sold was way up there, closer to, everybody doesn't know where Carl Pinkston lives, but closer to Carl Pinkston, we sold a lot that only had access off of that easement. Well, that's actually deeded property.
Okay. I do remember, and I don't, Mr. Fuller just disappeared on me. He was sitting there for 2 seconds, and now he's gone. He will probably remember when we were on planning and zoning, we had a discussion about properties that might possibly, you could actually have a horse on it.
Yes,
This is when we were.
zoned ag.
Yes, and it's large enough to have horses.
And according to
There aren't
Laura,
any that are.
according to Laura, these lots, could be cut into 2 acres without having to plat. When you're in the city, as long as you plat, if you wanna, not plat, if you wanna cut it, get a survey, get a legal description, you can sell those parcels. So these 2 parcels are being sold with the rights that came, from Perkins to Jimmy Gladwell. Jimmy Gladwell sell to Stonehenge. So these lots, we're not selling them to people that way because they're buying them to build one home and to have horses. But the fact remains that if these were, someone did want to divide these properties, each one could be divided into 3 parcels without platting. Correct, Laura?
I don't know, even a minor subdivision probably would need a plat. Ms. Gorman?
How long ago, Cookie, was that split into 2? Has it been that way?
When the land was, Wade probably knows better than me, Perkins got the land through default, through judgment, and Perkins State Bank was the developer of this property. Norm Fugit helped
Before
with the
Drummond, that's been a long
development.
time.
It was a long time ago.
It's the 3rd split that constitutes a plat. So typically is at what it was when it came into the city, the way it reads, or used to read it. You'll have to chime into that.
Is it in the city limits? It is in the city limits.
It used to read that as the property came in the city, when you created a 3rd split. So if when that came in the city, it was already into 2, then that's correct. But if it was split after it came into the city, the next split's gonna constitute a 3rd.
Yeah.
And that would be the plat.
I wasn't around for all
Right,
that.
but that's about.
But it's been this way for a long time.
I was just saying, Mr. Fuller, that when we were on planning and zoning, we discussed properties in the sense that were big enough to have horses. And these were 2 of the lots that we knew of that were big enough to actually handle horses or multiple horses. Because we didn't have any at all before that time.
And both of these lots are under contract.
They're both currently under contract. Sounds, and I don't know how the rest of you feel, it sounds to me like we need to table it just so we can discuss it further with staff, not us, but staff.
Tabling it is okay, that's your right, it's just that since these are public hearings, I have to republish them in the paper for the next time, so it wouldn't be 2 weeks probably, it'd probably be a little bit longer than that.
Excuse me if I might ask, we can continue this, can we not, without having to re-advertise?
I believe you have to re-advertise.
Yeah, I think any tabling is gonna be considered a continuance. But I don't feel comfortable voting to vacate it after hearing this. Mr. McMillan?
This is lot 24.
Before anyone else speaks, you'll need to be sworn in.
Say it again.
Swear me in.
Would
Oh,
you raise your
sorry.
right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
As far as I know.
If you will, come to the microphone. Sorry, so I can record you.
Yeah.
So Chief, you're asking for this,
Yeah.
I'm showing in his survey on my phone, so.
But, so the argument is access, correct?
If they vacate it, there will be no access. If we vacate it, put it that way.
Okay, and then, so this is where it comes into the owners of the land of 24 and 20.
Right, that's those two lots.
Yeah, that's 24,
That's city.
and then that's city. So, the city can't do nothing about this as far as I know, because this is not, I mean, it's not, well, it just so happens that the city owns this piece of land ahead of it. But what would happen is that whoever owns these houses on 7 would have to sell an easement to the owners of these properties so that they can access their own property. Otherwise, these two lot 24 is an illegal piece of land.
Unless it's an easement already. And if it is, they wouldn't have to sell anything, it's an easement.
It's not an easement, it's a right-of-way. It's an unimproved road.
Oh, well, there you go. That's even better than an easement when you're trying to go somewhere. Okay, I don't think this is the time for us to be doing this.
Ms. Jones, may I just,
That's why I wanna table it, so staff can discuss it. Ms.
I
Jones?
just have one more thing that I need to bring up. The argument is that the other access road needs to be cleared and it would cost a lot of money. That will have to be cleared anyway for utilities to get to that lot. So that's not something that wouldn't happen if you didn't vacate this. You still have to clear that lot and bring it up to, level to get the utilities back there for those residences. Cause you wouldn't go through here and go down.
Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you, sir.
Larry King for the record.
What?
Larry King for the record.
Yeah. Well, we've been accessing that, going into that property, and, as far as the other one that we would have to clear, but now we have it surveyed, we have an easement through that one to the back property we're talking about that would landlock it. We don't have to go, if somebody buys that, they don't have to go through the one by Jeremy's house.
Unless they wanted to develop it, and we're selling that with the developer, but that's neither.
But they can go through Marks and run electric and everything to it.
If it remains an
If it remains an easement, right. I don't know why we would have to clear that and fix that up because we have it surveyed, it easements back to like lot 24.
I'm gonna ask for a closing statement from the applicant at this time. If you'd like to make a closing statement. We're just gonna finish our little process before we decide what we're doing.
So, Bee Tree Drive that travels next to my house only goes back to the city property. It's not contiguous to any of the parcels that they've created back there at all. The other lot to the south of it has the access, through another Bee Tree Drive, that's just not cleared yet. So this one has been used for the last 50 years since the house has been there as my driveway, and I'd like to see it remain as such and not have, especially if they're able to put 6 lots back there and have a lot of traffic going down that road, because it's been my driveway for that long.
Okay. Thanks, sir. Let's have a closing statement by staff, and then we will discuss as a council.
Okay, I just wanted to reiterate that either way, the utilities will not be going through this way, they'll be going through the south Bee Tree Drive. and that will have to be cleared, and it will have to be brought up to grade, regardless of whether or not we vacate this. Because utilities can't be designed by looking at a map. The utilities come from a certain area, and they need to go into a certain area, and utilities has already told me that vacating this is not a problem, as long as they have access to the other one.
And is there an easement in the other one? There's already an existing easement.
The other one is a unimproved road.
Okay, which you can use as an easement for utilities. All right, are there any other statement from the applicant or from staff? Okay, Mr. Cox.
Where again was the, retention pond at?
Is it the little square?
No, it's
a big.
this whole area, it starts right here,
Yeah, the
at the
square
end of
area.
Petrie, and then comes all the way over to here to, what is that, lot 25?
Yeah.
And so lot 25 is over here, so the city property is a little cut here, down, and then all the way this way.
But we have been coming back and forth using that property. I have been coming in that way to show the property. And so, once we realized this was gonna be so costly, Mr. Fugit drew up an easement, I sent it to Mr. McMillan, and so there's on lot 25, there's an easement right here that goes to, if this was bigger, lot 24 right here. So we have been coming and going, showing the property as for real estate. That's how people have been coming and going.
And the
We've
easement
been
has,
coming and going before we've even had it for sale.
the easement's been already legally filed
Yes.
by Mr. Fugit? Yeah, yes, sir.
Can you tell me on that map, what is that road that is up there?
That's
means
Seventh Street.
Yeah.
That
Where
is
all the
7th
new
Street.
development is. the
Where's
first
Fourth
town.
Avenue?
It's over here.
Yeah.
Your road.
Pardon me?
Your road is way over here.
Okay. Is this the property behind Fourth Avenue?
Well, those are all, yes.
It comes up behind your
It
house.
comes up behind your house.
Thank you, Mr. King. So what you're all talking about directly affects me. I've been trying to be quiet, we'll let everyone else talk, but all of that water from Okamic goes down to that property. Because I have a bridge where there's a swale, and in heavy rain, my neighbor said, "What is that?" I said, "It's a bridge to nowhere." I built a bridge so that I could cross the swale, because in heavy rain, it is a torrential, it rivals 7th Street. And now they are building on Fourth Avenue at a record pace. There's a number of houses going, every home that goes in, the water retention reduces,
That pond.
goes into your pond. You're
Well, that
correct.
pond's
That
not
pond's
ours.
the city.
Okay, yeah, I've been told it was the city's pond.
It is.
I mind my own business, so I don't go over there. But I have always wondered, what's going on with all this water that we're dumping over into somebody else's property? Because all of my neighbors on my side of the street, all of those lots are sloping radically, and the other side of the street are all sloping, and the water's running across the street, across our houses, around our houses, and down to that retention pond. Is what you're doing trying to create lots on that retention pond area, or behind it, behind my house?
The lots are existing.
Understood.
We didn't develop them. They're
I'm
already
just trying to understand. The lot directly behind my house that they did all of that clearing on, is that the property you're talking about?
Yes.
And we've had no problem.
Mr. McMillan saying no.
Are you talking about Country Lane Estate?
No, sir. You surveyed my house not long ago.
Where your dad used to live in the Bullock House?
Oh, yeah.
He's directly
Where your dad
across
used
from
to
there.
live.
He doesn't read it, I don't think.
Are they just resurfacing the lot? He may not.
I didn't know they called it.
I just wanna try to, I kept thinking, boy, that property looks familiar.
Okay, let's, see what the council wants to do. What does the council want to do? Do you think we need more information on the easement that appears to have been filed that we don't know about? And do we own the retention area? The city owns it, it's city property?
It's not, it's a pond.
I'm getting over here that we don't own the property though.
You did the pond,
It's city property? Okay. I think we need to study that, to know whether we do, and I'm hearing from one
Yes,
that we
it is.
do and one that we don't.
That is the city of Williston's property. So the little red mark you see, city of Williston, all the way over to the right, city of Williston, down to that pond. It's about.
Okay, so we do own
It's
how many
almost
acres?
9.5 acres.
We own 9.5 acres
Yes,
right
ma'am.
here. Okay. Did not
So
know that.
technically, that road, from our point of view, I know that, I understand now that Ms. King and Mr. Fugit were working on easements, we weren't aware. But from our point of view, that road went into city property, it really wasn't appropriate for access, and they had 2 other points of access. So I think that maybe we do need to have a little conference with maybe Ms. King and Mr. Fugit.
Mr.
and-
McMillan.
And maybe Mr. McMillan, and see, you know, if we're on the.
I believe so.
same page.
I don't feel comfortable voting on it until we figure out what's
Yes,
going
ma'am.
on.
Well,
Does everybody else feel that way? Okay. Mr. McMillan.
this vacate of this road right here is okay because they have other access,
But not if Mr. Fugit has recently filed for a new easement. Does the new easement go all the way down? Does anybody know that? How far does the new easement go?
It probably goes along the property line.
I would need it printed, honestly.
Makes sense to
If
you.
this were bigger, I would do a lot better job. It goes right, keep going if somebody.
That's what I
takes
thought you were
control.
saying. So it goes through the city property all the way down?
No, this is our Stonehenge property.
Okay.
This is the only piece of city property at the end of Mark's driveway that he's talking about.
All right.
This is the city retention pond.
Okay, so you're saying there's a new platted
No,
easement?
there's no new, this is a,
Oh, and it didn't exist. When did you go and do it? Because we're unaware of it.
we gave easement from one of our lots to the other lot. This is not city, there's right there, Stephen, that your dad did.
Okay, but I'm asking when you did that. When was that done, do you know? Even what year would be nice to know.
Yeah, it's
2021.
In 2021?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just not aware of it.
July 8th, 21.
Okay, thank you.
It had not been recorded when I filed this.
Yeah. I would entertain a motion to table item B, 7B, excuse me, 6B, until the staff can do further investigation.
I make a motion that we table item 6B.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, all of you, by the way. All right, so now we're moving to another quasi-judicial, second reading, ordinance 2022-697, an ordinance of the City of Williston, Florida, providing for a permanent closing of an unimproved road located at 850 Southwest 7th Street, Williston, Florida, in Plat Book 2, page 5, Hillcrest Unit 1 of the Public Records of Levy County, finding that the closing of the road will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare, providing for the repeal of conflicting ordinances and providing for an effective date. Ms. Jones.
Thank you.
Wait, first, is there any, I'd like to ask if there's any ex parte communication regarding the Church of God on this property. Okay, seeing none.
Do I need to swear in?
Yes, please swear in. Anybody who thinks they might talk about this, please stand up. Even if you think you might. Thank you.
Everybody stand up.
Appreciate it. All right.
Would you all please raise your right hand again? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Thank you so much. And again, all items that are brought, exhibit diagrams, photographs will be turned over to the clerk as evidence and exhibits. And at this time, we will ask for the staff's opening statement.
Thank you. The City of Williston received a request to vacate a portion of an old easement that was mistakenly not closed during a previous request. It is the end of Indiana Avenue, which was vacated previously except for this little square. The easement is blocking access to Alachua Street for future improvements of that church property. Aerials and maps are attached, and Public Works has no issue with vacating this portion of this road.
Okay, do you have any witnesses at this time, Ms. Jones?
The applicant and the applicant's agent are both here. Do you have any questions for them?
I know that you don't have any witnesses. Is anybody's statement to be made by the applicant? That's my next step. Mr. Brooks, anything to add? No. No, okay. We will move then for any testimony that may be presented as evidence as an alternate speaker. Anybody else who wants to speak against? Okay. At this time, I will ask for anyone in the public if they'd like to make comments. And a closing statement from the applicant, if any.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And closing statement from the staff.
No more statements, thank you.
This is how quick it's supposed to go, y'all. Okay, at this time, the discussion will be held by the council. What are your wishes? This is second reading. Entertain a motion for second reading of ordinance 2022-697.
I make a motion, we approve ordinance 2022-697.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Before the vote and for the record, competent and substantial evidence is the burden that the council must find today.
Thank you. I need that in my little paper here. It's not here. Okay, so all in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll move now to item D has been tabled. It was tabled for an error in the advertisement. That's why we have tabled it, in case anyone wondered. It will be re-advertised and put back on the agenda. Item E is the second reading of ordinance 2022-699, an ordinance of the City of Williston, Florida, removing Article 5, Gas System, Chapter 40, Section 40-1 through 40-237 of the City of Williston Land Development Code and replacing it with new language, specifically Section 40-171, Municipal Gas System, Section 40-172, Definition, Section 40-173, Availability, Section 40-174, Application for Service, Section 40-175, Residential Development, Section 40-176, Individual Premises, Section 40-177, Authority to turn on the gas, Section 40-178, Maintenance of meters and service lines, Section 40-179, meter locations and delivery pressure, Section 40-180, gas consumption, Section 40-181, testing, Section 40-182, tampering, Section 40-183, providing for applicability, I'll get that word, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date. I read that into the record because it's required. Mr. Barber, it is your turn.
Yes, ma'am. We brought this to you before. It's just simply cleaning up the language and updating it.
Okay. Any questions on this matter? I know we have people here, I believe, from SGU.
Yeah.
No, they were, okay, not tonight. I think they were here earlier. Any questions for the utility staff? Any comment from the public? This is a public hearing. This is your chance. Okay, this is our second reading. It is ordinance 20-22-699. I will entertain a motion for approval.
I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2022-699.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second? I have a motion and I have a second. Do I have any further discussion from anyone? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Mr. Bishop. Okay, we have closed all of our public hearings. We will now move to item 6, I think it's 6F, Resolution 2022-30, a resolution of the city, that doesn't say right, the City Council of the City of Williston, Levy County, Florida, approving the purchase for extrication equipment. Chief Steele.
Yes, ma'am, this is just the resolution where we received a consensus to move forward on the purchase of the new extrication equipment that we had gotten at a really good price.
Sorry to say, I know it's listed there. There it was,
Yes, ma'am.
$21,000. And if you will, for the public's interest, can you tell us what new equipment will cost?
Well, that same equipment, brand new, which this is just demo equipment, so it's only been used for training, but that same equipment, brand new, is about $56,000.
Okay, thanks, sir. Any questions for the fire chief? Entertain a motion. Resolution 2022-30.
I make a motion that we approve resolution 2022-30.
I have a motion and I have a second. Do I have any discussion from anyone? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 7, new business. Discussion with possible action, 410 Southeast 3rd Street, city maintaining the street, residents William Seal and Judy Davila.
Rudy.
Rudy Davila.
Yes, ma'am. How are you guys doing today?
Welcome.
So I actually rent my property. My landlord built in '08, I believe, and his homeowner who he purchased for, he's my neighbor on the corner. Our street is kind of an access road there on 410 Southeast 3rd. And so really, no offense to Mr. Mark Dussel or however, but Williston Crane, he doesn't have any gutters on his metal building, so even when you guys have come out, when I've come to you, and you've actually come out and regraded, the road for us, it gets washed out immediately. We have FedEx, we have our garbage trucks, we have the postal service. Everybody uses the street just like it's a city maintained street, but it's not maintained by the city. Well, I've done a little research since I've been there 5 years, and apparently my landlords and his homeowner signed something that you guys wouldn't be liable for maintaining the street in '08. So I'm here to ask, is there anything we can do? I mean, it was built on the junkyard where Mr. Crabtree was at. So when the road gets washed out, I have railroad spikes, I have nails, I have radiators, horns that are just in our road. My driveway's about this deep when you come off of it. The roots and everything, that's what I'm here to ask. Just for it to be maintained, not for it to be paved. I don't want it paved. People treat it like a skate park anyways, at speed, how it is. I'd prefer it just to be maintained, if possible even, because I don't know if maintaining it even, because even when you guys do come, when it rains that, it washes right back out again.
Right.
So I have no idea what to do from that.
Okay, is staff familiar with this road?
Yes, ma'am, very familiar. The issue is, there's not enough square footage there to put the road in legally.
So it's not wide enough?
No, ma'am.
Not wide enough.
And it was designed that way back in the day.
Okay, so can we put millings on it or something?
If you can find some, I'll put them down.
There's plenty of them at the airport. Not anymore?
No, we can't use it for that.
Can't use the ones at the airport?
I mean, we can try to get some money up from our own little 6 people that live on that street to try to help out as well.
You shouldn't have to do that.
Right, I was willing to do it myself, but they said that I could be liable for it because if somebody wrecked off the road or hurt their car,
Yeah, okay, so what can we do to help these gentlemen? Y'all make me a suggestion.
But, feel good at me would say, go ahead and start maintaining it, but if we do, then we'll have the liability, the maintenance and everything else, and then past practice, we could be doing it forever.
Well, I know if we just grade it, it's gonna wash out again.
Absolutely.
I mean, and I'm pretty sure I'm familiar with the road. Does it run north and south?
Yes.
It's, right behind.
It's the one that we're familiar with,
It
the
goes-
spots are
it goes behind Crabtree's
It's only
across the
about
road.
7 feet wide.
Right.
I mean, it really, there's no easement. When I was talking to the sir here, excuse me, sorry about that. When I was talking with him a few weeks ago, there's not enough easement. We'd have to move back utilities, water. I mean, it's a little bit of deal, and like I said, I just wanted it maintained.
I saw you pulled them whole there, I'm
I
pretty
just
sure.
wanted it maintained, and I don't know what it'll cost. I would do it myself, but then I hear there's tickets, I'm held liable for it, so, like I said, so that's why I'm here.
It is a named street, it has a street sign up. I remember going to look at it, there is a street sign that's on the corner. So it is one of our streets. It's not just an alleyway, it is a named street. So tell me what we can do. Somebody make me a suggestion.
Give us an opportunity to go look at it and talk
Okay.
about it and come back with recommendations, and
All
if we
right.
can do that.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
really
Happy to
appreciate
share.
that.
Yes,
Thank you, appreciate it.
We are moving now to item 7B, discussion with possible action, credit card for the IT manager, Mr. Mills. Mr. Mills, are you bringing this up?
Yes.
Okay. What do you know?
Well, I don't have one. I'm using everyone else's to do purchases that I need for whatever comes up, if it comes up. I've used the city managers, Latricia's, Danny's, whoever's available to have funding on their card. Just asking to have one for my purposes to use in the department. The problem we're having with a lot of vendors is they don't take POs anymore.
Right.
They want their money right now when you buy it or you order it.
Absolutely.
A lot of the stuff that I'm having to get is even hard to find, so we're having to get it when we can get it, when it shows up as being available. So it's kind of I can't wait 2 or 3 weeks to get it. I gotta get it while it's available, so.
Ms. Corbin, what is your recommendation?
I recommend we get it one, because I don't want to take him back anymore. Not that I use it all the time, but, it's for tracking purposes and being responsible, and I think he's a department head, and he's trying to do a utility business, so we really need to give him a way to do that. And he's right, they're not doing purchase orders, so we have to find a way to help him. But I think, Latricia, we have to increase our limit at the bank, if that's correct? Yes.
And if you all do approve giving him a credit card, I need to know what his limit is.
Right.
Thank you.
That was my next question, is what do you want his limit to be?
$10.
What are the other department head limits? I know they vary. Danny's
I
is
believe
big.
Danny has the most because
Yeah,
he's the
Danny.
logistics manager and he orders a lot.
Right.
And Aaron orders about the same amount as Danny throughout.
He's not getting that kind of limit.
I'm thinking $5,000 soon. Is that enough, you think?
No,
That's not
Aaron, what
enough.
do you need a month?
Everything you can get.
We can start with that, I think that's fine.
You think 5,000 is enough?
No, 5,000 would be
12?
for the month.
Yeah.
More than that in a month.
He should have been buying already.
Realistically, I would expect 10, and
I mean, I don't
Jonathan's
think,
telling me 12.
the limit actually doesn't go on the individual card, does it?
Yes.
It does go on the individual
Yes.
card. And
We're
then
all
we,
maxed out.
and then we have a high limit for everybody. So altogether, they can't be any more than this, right?
That's
Okay.
right.
What have you been averaging spending? If you had to average it.
Too much.
Too much. It's been very expensive lately, the last few months. We've had some network equipment we've had to replace, and we worked on cameras and security stuff for City Hall as part of the Department of Corrections upgrades and things. So we have spent probably $5,000-6,000 pretty heavily in the last month.
Could I suggest
Yes,
15 for him?
So you're asking for how much to be on this card?
He was asking for 12,000.
12 what?
12,000.
12,000.
And I'm hearing 15 from Ms.
Well,
City Clerk.
Now, he doesn't have to spend that amount, he doesn't have to go out and spend that much, but
Obviously, yeah.
just for that, just in case he doesn't have to come to Jackie or myself, because we're all trying to make sure that we're capturing and making sure we're not going over our budget.
Oh, I know for tracking purposes, as Ms. Gorman said, it is good for him to have his own card, because you can tell who spent it, not just that it was spent.
And
Ms.
he has
Wright,
a budget to maintain.
did you
too,
say
so-
that there's a cap for the whole city with all the cards together?
Yeah.
There is, yeah.
Because I don't have, my cap can be reduced, because I don't use that card for anything except for conferences. So if you wanted to reduce mine, that would give you some space for him. I'm probably one of the few people who don't use it except for conferences.
Do you have any idea how much we have left in the cap?
Well, sometimes it gets maxed out.
That's my question.
Yeah,
You
so-
know, we've got maximum number per card. Do you
Is that
have an
40?
idea how much is open at the top of it?
No, because everybody card bearers.
Well, it's getting maxed out with him using the card, so
Right.
it really don't matter.
Right, our limits are being maxed out, not the card. Total,
My
that's the total
understanding
amount.
is we have a max for all the cards.
Yes.
Yes,
If we reach that max, the cards are no good.
no, each individual, but, let's see how to put
If
this.
the total max is reached, none of the cards are good.
Right, but we've never
We've never done that.
done that.
And that's my question.
Yes, sir, no, we've
What
never.
is the cap on the total amount?
I think it's like
If it's
40 or
I wanna say 40, I wanna say
40.
40 or 45, yeah.
Yes,
Yes, it's between 40 and 50.
it's just each individual, like, if he uses my card, my max is 2,000. And sometimes I reach that limit if he's using my card.
And I can tell you, I don't typically use mine, but if we have an emergency, like we've had police and fire emergency, and I've given them my card to try and help them through, the repairs. So, we try and, look, I stay after them over these cards, I can tell you that, so, but Aaron has a lot going on with trying to get Talent up, with all the work that he's doing with our phone, so he really needs one. But again.
Just tell us, 15,000, is that what you're saying?
15, let's do it.
Yeah, let's just get, let's get
Okay,
it.
15.
Okay, so let's have a motion for 15. Do we need to raise the overall cap by that amount? You think it's fine? Okay. All right, so a motion to give the IT manager, credit card in a limit of $15,000.
Thank you.
I have a motion.
I make a motion to give the IT manager a limit of $15,000 on the credit card.
Thanks, sir.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion from anyone? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 7C, discussion with possible action, Levy Pet Project replat, RP 2022-03. Ms. Jones.
Thank you. Levy Pet Project replat. This is parcel 05076000400. Everybody has a big, map in front of you if you wanna see it. And then there's one on the table if anybody wants to go up and take a look. Kinda hard to see on the screen. This property is located at 505 Southwest 7th Street. Mr. Robert Bullock is the property owner and Stephen McMillan is the agent. You all know this as Levy Pet Clinic? Levy Animal Hospital.
Yep, Levy Animal Hospital.
Currently, the parcel consists of one lot on 2.5 acres, and the zoning is commercial intensive. This plat is proposing 2 lots. The north lot would be 1.356 acres, and the south would be 1.144 acres. Planning and Zoning Board recommends approval of the Levy Pet Project replat to City Council. They've seen it, they saw it at the end of last month.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Jones? Any questions for the applicant who is here, as well as their agent? If not, I would entertain a motion for resolution 20-22, 20-22-31.
I just have a question. Is Zach allowed to vote? Because he's my nephew. I don't know if that makes any difference.
If he has no financial interest, he is allowed to vote. You wish he had not it. I think that's the proper answer. Is that the proper answer, Ms. Baloo? Thank you. I'm still waiting for a motion. 2022-31.
03, I'm sorry.
Huh?
It's 2022-03.
That's not what I have on my agenda. Is that wrong?
Yeah, 202-203.
Yeah,
Is it 0C instead of 31?
31 is the one below it.
Go up one.
You're at C.
You're at C. Go up.
Oh, thank you so much. You're so good.
I make a motion that we approve Levy Pet Project replat RP 2022-03.
I second.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the clarification. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, let's try this resolution again. Resolution 20-2231, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Williston, Florida, approving a land lease agreement with existing buildings between Mayo Fertilizer, Inc. and the City of Williston for property at the airport with the legal description as provided in Exhibit A, authorizing the City Council President to execute the land lease agreement, repealing all resolutions in conflict, and providing an effective date. Mr. Stevens.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a renewal of lease, basically a brand new lease for Mayo Fertilizer. This lease, or these lease talks, came as we discovered, they requested a, extension for their current land lease. We realized they had no more extensions left, and their land lease, expires in June. So what we've done is we kind of got a little proactive. I know that's a shock, but we brought them a new lease with new lease terms to include their primary lease term and 2 5-year extensions, and 3 5-year extensions, and brought their rate up. We still gave them a little bit lower rate than our new ordinance because we started talking about this before our ordinance was ever put into place. We gave them an agricultural rate because they're an agricultural business and they service everybody around here. And even with that, with the size of the land that they have, their rent is going up considerably. So we wanted to try to help them as much as we could, because if we raise their price too much, they're just going to pass it on to their customers, and we don't feel right doing that to the community. So we gave them the agricultural rate, and if anybody would like to see that, I can send you an email with the FDOT state study that has agricultural rates for airport property in it.
Perfect. Okay, any questions, Mr. Stegall? Okay, this time it really is resolution 20-22-31.
Make a motion, we accept resolution 2022-31, on Mayo Fertilizer.
Thank you, sir. I have a motion and I have a second. Is there any discussion from anyone? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have canceled E at this time. We're moving now to our item 8, which is public participation. This is your second opportunity of the evening to make comment about something that is not on the agenda. If you would like to make comment, please come to the podium and state your name and city of record.
Williston. My comment's going to be in reference to the dual position of the HR director, also acting as the deputy city manager. I've had a public records request in for 5 weeks, so I still don't have all the information. And so my comment is, there is little to no information available concerning the hiring of HR director Deanna Nelson in the dual role as the deputy manager and HR director. How does this new arrangement benefit anybody? Certainly not the employees or the city of Williston, present or future. An employee calls to report a sensitive issue, whether it's to handle employee disputes, accusations of racism, sexism, workplace violence. What is Ms. Nelson's job classification when an employee calls to discuss one of these issues? Is she the HR director, or is she the deputy city manager? There's no benefit for anyone here except for the city manager Gorman and HR deputy director Nelson. The dual position Ms. Gorman has put in place will be an employee nightmare in the making and disastrous results for the city. This needs to be corrected by the council immediately to avoid future personnel disasters. There needs to be a line of separation between the HR director and other managers. So what we see here, if I had more answers, maybe I wouldn't be here, but I'm 5 weeks into my public records request and still can't get any answers. But I do know, and common sense tells you, you can't have a deputy city manager also be the HR director, because I wouldn't want to call her for anything, so if I call her, am I calling the deputy manager or am I calling the HR director? So there's a lot of issues here. Maybe I get my answers on Thursday. If we need more discussion, I'll get on the agenda for the next meeting for the discussion, but right now, nobody wants to discuss it. There are no details available. It shouldn't take me 5 weeks to find the answers to these simple questions. So I just wanted to bring that up for discussion. No, we can't discuss now because it is a comment, but I will get on the agenda to just have discussion on this when I get my answers on Thursday, if I get the answers.
Okay, thank you for your comment. Anybody else at this time?
Madam President,
Yes, ma'am.
briefly.
Yes.
I do want to make clear for the record, a couple of different things regarding public records. I certainly don't want the community to feel like the city's not doing what it's obligated to do in this area. So I will say that, Florida statute, chapter 119.07, subsection 4, does allow the city to charge a reasonable fee for public records requests. That's for duplication, that's for labor, and there's a couple of other things spelled out in the statute that you're allowed to charge for. There is also case law. I can cite it for you. It's Lodman v. City of Rivera Beach. If anyone wants the full site, I'll give it to you, but it's quite long. Which does say that if there is a pending public records request, which has not been paid by an applicant, the city is not obligated to give another public records request until the pending public records request fee is paid.
Okay.
Can you respond to that? May I respond to that?
I don't think there's a need to respond for it at this time. If you get on the debate, if you get on the agenda the next time, we can talk about it.
Okay, I wasn't asking for anything that wasn't already readily available to anybody. They weren't creating anything new. What I was asking for should have already been not created.
I've seen your request. There are things that are just oblivious. They're not documents.
Well, I disagree, but that's okay. I'll get on the agenda. That's fine. Thank you.
That'll be fine. Ms. Cortman.
I just want to say that there are minutes available for when the deputy city manager was hired before. There was minutes available from the last meeting where this was explained in length to the hiring and the promotion. It was not a new position. So if you go back and look at those minutes, it should explain that. Okay, thank you.
All right, anything else from the public at this time? If not, I will ask Mr. Ross if you have any announcements to make.
No, ma'am, I do not.
Okay, Mr. Bullock, anything? Mr. Mayor?
Did I miss something, or did you not do item E?
Item E was tabled, or actually canceled.
So I missed something.
Yeah, it was canceled.
That was it.
They have withdrawn, I believe.
That was the item that you said was okay.
Yeah.
No, there was no email.
I was told today that they had withdrawn, so we canceled the item.
That's fine, that's wonderful.
Okay.
Now, yes, I have a couple of things. When Ms. Applin, I don't know if she's still here, I can't see her. When she contacted me about Juneteenth, and asked me to speak, I said, sure, but I don't know what it is. And I was embarrassed. So I had to do some research. And I found out what it is. And it's a worthwhile celebration, Ms. Applin. However, it wasn't until last year that it became a federally recognized day. So I excuse myself for my ignorance because it's new. it is a wonderful, if you wanna know something about the celebration that Ms. Ackland is talking about, all you gotta do is Google it, and I'm not a fan of that. But there's a lot of information out there about it, and I encourage everybody to just find out what it's about, and perhaps even dare to attend it.
And just to add on to that information, the Friends of Kentucky Williams Community Park Committee, so there's a lot of people that's working on this event. But we've really extended it this year to really, invite and share the things that are happening in Williston. So a lot of people know what I'm talking about, and I'm not trying to leave anyone out, I know that a lot of people are gonna be there, and they're gonna find out that they are part of all of this. It's joining the community and inviting the community to work with them in Williston. And that's the excitement about the freedom to be, and a lot of people focus on freedom, which is about Juneteenth, the freedom to be also about all the things and growth that's happening in Williston. So it's really just gonna kind of just.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
And that's it, thank you, sir.
Mr. Cox, do you have anything? Okay, the only thing I have is to let you know there's also another Juneteenth celebration. It is on Sunday, June the 19th, from 7 to 9 at the Heritage Park Pavilion. So we actually.
Where was that at?
All over Facebook.
Facebook.
And I was invited to attend. So, of course, I've been invited to both of them, but I also wanted you to know about that one as well. And it's in the park, they have music and, I think a food truck and a couple other things that they're having as well. And I understand the band that we had at Music in the Park on Friday, they're bringing the whole band. Great trumpet player, by the way. And I understand he's bringing the whole band, his whole band to that particular. So if you like jazz and that sort of thing, it was terrific.
What time is it?
I think it's 7 to 9.
7 to 9, Sunday.
I can check that for you and let you know for sure, but yes.
Sunday.
Yes, it is a Sunday. That is actually Juneteenth, is on
Yeah, I do have one question. What happens at the charter review committee?
We're having a meeting, that's another thing I can announce for the public, who doesn't know. We have appointed ourselves evidently, and our meeting will be held as a workshop on, is it a Thursday? I know it's June 28th, but is that a Thursday? Tuesday, June the 28th. So if that's not on your calendar, please put it on your calendar. 6 o'clock in this room.
So, are we going to select people, or is it going to be just council?
We are not going to select people.
This council decided they didn't want to select people, which I think we cut off our nose to spite our face, because I wanted to appoint the public to be on that committee. But we cut off our nose to spite our face and decided to do it ourselves. That was the vote. Don't ask me what side of the vote I was on, because I wasn't in favor of that.
Okay.
But that's what we ended up doing. And we did set a date. Ms. Baloo is going to lead us through that process, just as she would have done an appointed committee that we would have appointed. She's going to lead us through it, because that was the plan before, so she's going to lead that meeting.
And it is open to the public?
It is absolutely open to the public. At 6 o'clock. Yes, they can have discussion just like we're doing tonight. So, that's what this body voted to do, so that's what we will be doing. Does anybody else have any announcements? Because I'm getting ready to go. I'm gonna go with Ms. Jones first.
Thank you. I just wanted to let you know that we did get our task force filled for the CDBG grant. Thank you so much, Latricia, and everybody else that helped us get our citizens on board. A lot of them are here in the audience, so I really appreciate it. We'll be reaching out very soon to get them together.
Perfect. Mr. Witt, you have anything to add?
I was just concerned with the case law.
Okay, you can talk with her after the meeting, if you will. She can give you the whole.
I know what she.
You want her to cite it?
No, I was just gonna say that the case law is not statute. Statute is chapter 119.
Yes, well, she quoted that as well.
Well, case law under 119 is not part of 119. So, it's not the statute.
She quoted the statute at the beginning, and then she gave you case law if you want to look it up.
I'm happy to talk law later.
Okay.
Yeah, and she can talk with you later. Chief Rolls.
I want to thank Laura for, helping us out, looking for a grant for, our ballistic shields.
I heard about that.
So I'm excited about that, so I'm looking forward to working with her to accomplish that. And I just want to make one suggestion, and we can talk about it later. And that suggestion would be the design of this room. For me, as an officer, I feel trapped back here in this corner if something was to take place in this facility or in this room. So I'm making a suggestion that we look at redesigning the room and maybe moving it a different way, so if something was to happen, I can get out of here without running over Brooke or running over Benton.
And I'm smiling real big because our utility department suggested the same thing.
Yeah.
And it never went anywhere, so maybe between the two of them. Oh, is that it? She's throws something. We don't like our staff and our officers having their back to the window.
Right, correct.
Yeah, right, we would rather, and to the council, we're talking about completely shifting the room this way. So our desk would be along this wall, and they would be sitting over here so they could view the whole outside.
And also, what it will eliminate when someone has to leave the room of cutting in front of you when they're going out of the room. Because right now, if somebody gets up to leave, they walk directly in front of everybody else, so just a suggestion.
So we're gonna give some thought to that, not a done deal, just a thought. We may do some measurements to see if the council desk will fit along that wall. I actually think it's longer than this one. I think it's longer than this one, so, and the only other thing we will have is problem with our electric and our plugs. Mr. Bishop,
We've already discussed that, we've got a plan to move forward with it.
with the electric?
Yes, ma'am, and I
Perfect.
support Chief Rolls 100%.
Great.
There's room in this office right here and over here.
Yes, there are.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, so all I have to do is shift the electric and we should be ready to go. All right, anything else for this agenda?
Yes, ma'am.
I've heard that. Hi there. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to thank everybody that showed up Friday night to the CRA and Chamber event of Music in the Park. Our next Music in the Park will be July the 1st. So if you're not doing anything, it's from 7 to 9. We would like for you all to come out and enjoy music in the park. It's free. I am also still looking for vendors and participants for the 4th of July parade and the celebration at Horseman's Park. So if you know of anyone that wants to be in the parade, ask them to get in contact with me or Ms. Deborah. And if you know of anyone that wants to be a vendor at the Horseman's Park that night, just have them get in touch with me, please.
Is it open to anybody who wants to be a vendor?
Yes. Yes. And Laura forgot to mention that the Citizens Task Force first meeting will be on Thursday, June 16th at 5 o'clock p.m.
June 16th. And I would like to wish Councilman Bullock a belated happy birthday. I believe yesterday was his birthday. So, happy birthday to you. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment at this time. Well, Mr. Bishop's got his hand up.
We're talking about 4th of July, the stage has been totally revamped, repainted, and so I think y'all are gonna like it better this
It's
year.
been painted. I'm so excited. It was not painted before. That's
Between
terrific.
between non-slip grip, and it'll be more appealing to rent out if we so choose to do that.
Terrific. Thank you so much. For those who don't know, the 4th of July is really on July 2nd. Because the 3rd falls on the 4th, falls on a Sunday. Yeah. The 3rd is on a Sunday, so we're moving to the 2nd. Mr. Stiegel.
To avoid confusion with that, could we call it an Independence Day celebration?
Oh, yeah. Yes, we can call it an Independence Day celebration instead of the 4th of July. We'll confuse everybody.
We are gonna have a parade.
Yes, we will. Okay. Okay, now, all else fails, we're ready for adjournment? I'll entertain a motion. I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Forget it. Motion carries. Thank you for joining us.
So many things for you.